hiring faster and easier. And 82% of you will note that you can try ZipRecruiter free today. But you have to go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio, like where this ad plays. 82% of you will keep in mind that ZipRecruiter's technology finds qualified people for your job and actively invites them to apply.
Scott, is that you? Who are you talking to?
82% of you will also know that I live with my mom. But the most important thing to note is that ZipRecruiter works. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Will you be part of the 82% who remember where you can try ZipRecruiter for free? It's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Again, that exclusive link is ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Yes, radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
KRXO FM and KRXO HD Oklahoma City, a product of Tyler Media. Vote the franchise your favorite station for sports. Tonight, in every part of our state, the games have been played and champions are being made. And we're covering every single matchup from GameDayOklahoma.com. This is the Prep Sports Postgame, presented by Aspen Health and Rehab. We're taking you all the way up to midnight as we check in with the state's leading coaches and broadcasters for reports on tonight's game. The Prep Sports Postgame is also brought to you by
Pike Pass and the Oklahoma Turnpike Authority, Billy Sims Barbecue, Rogers State University, Pioneer Cellular, NES, Oklahoma's #1 choice for Epson quality office products, by the Martinez Agency, the Cherokee Nation, Legacy Entertainment LLC, Diesel Horse Sports and Orthopedics, and by the Scoredle app, Oklahoma's source for real-time scores.
From Boise City to Broken Bow, from Miami to Mangum, here's Grant Merrill and Randy Heights as the Prep Sports Postgame starts now.
All across the great state of Oklahoma, this is the Prep Sports Postgame on the GameDayOklahoma.com network. I'm Grant Merrill along with Randy Heights. We welcome you to the show as it is week 2 of the high school football season. And Randy, lots of rivalry games tonight, lots of games that we are keeping an eye on, and lots of implications heading into these first few weeks of when it really counts.
Yeah, I mean, and you're starting to see some teams not only in these rivalry games, but start to fine-tune some things because a lot of them just have one more week of non-district play. And as we all know, district play is what everyone wants to win because that's what qualifies you for the playoffs. So you're going to see coaches starting to be a little tougher on kids and teams and mistakes here over this week and next week.
All right, let's get right to the NES scoreboard powered by Scoredle tonight. In Class 6A1, shocker out of the Backyard Bowl. For the second year in a row, Union gets shut out. 22-0. Jinx wins that one tonight, and that one was supposed to be a big one, supposed to be a big shootout, highly anticipated. All Trojans all the time tonight. Westmore beats Southmore 35-14 tonight. Owasso leading Broken Arrow 42-3 in what we affectionately the Blankenship Bowl. Technically, it is the Folds of Honor Patriot Bowl, but the Rams are on top right now, 42-3, as Bill Blankenship beats Josh Blankenship. Last night, Moore beats Norman 41-30. Deer Creek over Yukon tonight, 35-14. Edmond Santa Fe beats Edmond North 35-7. It's a final up in Stillwater, and this was a shootout. Pioneers beat Mustang tonight, 32-28. Norman North up on Edmond Memorial, 49-19. The score there. Putnam City over Putnam City West tonight, 55-12, and that is Class 6A1. In the Class 6A2 ranks tonight, as the Scoredle scoreboard loads, Putnam City West is hang on. Guthrie's supposed to be at Duncan tonight. We'll check on that one here in just a minute. Capitol Hill trailing U.S. Grant 36-28. John Marshall over Northwest Classen 53-0. In Lawton, MacArthur beating Lawton tonight 41-21 in the fourth quarter. Other fourth quarter action, the Paul Chieftains beating Bartlesville. Chieftains up on the Bruins 34-14. Ponca City blanks McLean tonight 37-0. Rogersaw handing it to the Muskogee Roughers as I believe they fall to 0-3 this evening. 56-12 final score there. Midwest City beats Noble tonight 14-12. Carl Albert beating Del City Del City beating Carl Albert 52-20. You're just so used to saying Carl Albert winning, and that did not happen tonight.
That was a shocker tonight for sure.
In a Scoredle TV game of the week, Putnam City North up on Piedmont. They beat them 26-10. Hominy beats the Ponca City Pohide JV team 30-8. Dallas Jesuit over Choctaw tonight. Choctaw suffering their first loss of the season, 36-29, the final score there. And we mentioned the other scores there. 5A scores, what's that look like, Mr. Heights?
All right, let's go through some 5A here. Glenpool tonight beats Durant 27-17. Lawton Ike over Altus Big 48-13. Midwest City and Noble was a close one. The Bombers winning 14-12. Tulsa Nathan Hell and Will Rogers. Will Rogers winning 51-30. You got Southeast and Class Southeast wins 39-34. Oologah over Claremore 30-24. Elk City knocks off Guyman 62-8.
Wait, did you say Oologah beat Claremore?
That's
wow.
Yeah, 30-24.
How about those Mustangs?
Both teams now 1-1 on the season. There you go.
Well, we'll talk to Brent Kellogg about that one. And honestly, I didn't know if he thought they would win tonight based on our conversation today. But how about Oologah? Congratulations.
Either that or the scoreboard's wrong, one or the other.
Well, we'll find out here for sure in just a few minutes.
Elk City, though, they rolled Guyman 62-8. Bishop McGinnis over Bishop Kelly in the Battle of the Bishops, 49-6, the final there. In the fourth quarter, Lawton Mac on top of Lawton, 41-21. Putnam North over Piedmont, 26-10. McAllister in the fourth quarter, they lead Ada, 35-14. Final Wagner over Tahlequah, 21-7. Edison Prep shuts out Memorial tonight, 35-0. Coweta over Frontenac. What is that? Frontenac? Frontenac, yeah. Where's Frontenac? Arkansas, I'm assuming?
I think it's in Kansas.
Kansas, all right. You're the East Side guys. I figured you would know on that one, Grant.
I believe that's in Kansas.
Anyway, Coweta wins tonight 42-6. Star Spencer shuts out Western Heights 56-0. Few more from 5A to pass along to you. U.S. Grant Capitol Hill. This game's in the fourth quarter. Grant leading 36-28. Ardmore over Shawnee 42-14. You got Woodward knocking off Bethany 17-12. Gravette, Arkansas, and Pryor. Gravette Falls. Pryor wins 35-14. Guthrie and Duncan. Guthrie winning 41-7 there. That game in the third at the last report we have. And then Skiatook Collinsville. Collinsville winning 43-7. Weatherford and El Reno. That's got to be wrong because, oh, no, that's right. It was a COVID cancellation.
Yes.
I forgot. Second week in a row,
Yeah.
El Reno has lost a game.
El Reno's having problems.
Yeah, so 0-0 there, so final, no game there.
All right, 4A scores tonight. This was actually rated, affiliate in Tulsa, 97-1, ended up putting out a question of the week this week about fiercest rivalries in the state. And there were several votes for Broken Bow and Idabel. Broken Bow leads Idabel right now, 26-14 in the far southeast quarter of the state. Plainview beats Cache tonight, 42-28. Cushing over Perkins Tryon, 48-14. As Randy mentioned a moment ago, Oologah's Mustangs over Claremore, 30-24. McAllister up on Ada in the fourth quarter, 35-14. Hara beats Bridge Creek tonight, 35-0. It was Wagner over Tahlequah, 21-7. Blanchard beating Elgin, 35-7. Ponca City shutting out McLean, 37-0. Fort Gibson over Catoosa, 52-21. The final there. Woodward, as you mentioned earlier, beating Bethany tonight, 17-12. Boomers getting their first big win of the season. John Marshall beats Northwest Classen 53-0. Elk City up on Guyman. They beat them 62-8. If you got to drive back from Guyman, always good to do it with a win. Seminole beating Tecumseh tonight 35-7. Tallahena beating Sallisaws JV Black Diamonds 8-7. Bristow over Chandler in a Turnpike rivalry 36-26. In the Highway 20 rivalry up in North Tulsa County, Collinsville's Cardinals beating Skiatook tonight 43-7. Grove beats Jay 44-6. Ridge Runners victorious in that one. Cleveland over Manford 34-21. It was Southeast beating Classen SAS 39-34. Clinton beats falls to Heritage Hall. Heritage Hall winning that one in the game heard on 107.7 tonight, 39-24. It was Gentry beating Stillwell. Gentry, Arkansas, of course, 42-7. Hilldale over Shakota in the fourth quarter, 45-0. Newcastle falling to Tuttle tonight, 35-7. We will have a report on that one later in the show. Verdigris blanking Miami. Miami's War Dogs getting their first loss of the season, 56-0, the final there. 3A scores, Mr. Heights.
All right, let's go through 3A here. Westville over Foreman, 28-16, the final there. Cleveland, they knock off and 34-21. Plainview over Cache 42-28. Sulphur knocks off Davis 27-14. Cushing over Perkins Tryon 48-14. The game you heard on 107.7 here in the city. Heritage Hall over Clinton 39-24. You've got a couple more here finals to pass along. Hilldale and Chakota. Hilldale shuts them out 45-0. Pauls Valley big over to Shamingo tonight 61-14. Hera with a shutout of Bridge Creek 35-0. Medill blanks Marietta. Medill winning 44-0.
Where has Medill come from this year?
I know.
Wow.
They've had a good start. I've got to admit, pretty surprising there with the way they've come along. Adair shutting out Locust Grove 48-0. Berry Hill over Cassia Hall 35-7. Veneta over Newada 42-0. Stigler blanks Blackwell 41-0. Verdigris over Miami 56-0. Grove over Jay 44-6. Here's a big score for you, Grant. Ringling and Dixon. Ringling 76-12 victory tonight.
Basketball score.
Wow. And then the Soul Bowl tomorrow between Douglas and Millwood. A few others, though, from tonight. Marlowe and Anadarko. Marlowe winning 58-6. Got some good reports out of Marlowe. They're going to be a very solid team this year, it looks like. Pretty impressive what they've been able to do early on. Lincoln Christian big over Vian 49-13. Spyro over Sequoia Tahlequah 38-14. And Inola defeats Salina tonight 19-12.
All right, let's get some 2A scores in before we go to a quick break here as that loads up on the Squirtle scoreboard. By the way, Soul Bowl tomorrow on Squirtle TV. We'll have that one for you. Valiant beats Heavener tonight 44-35 in 2A. It was Frederick over Hobart 55-13. McLeod falling to Bethel tonight 41-34. Kingston up on Hugo. They beat them 27-6. Meeker falls to Purcell tonight 32-18. It was Community Christian beating the OK Patriots 31-0. Wilburton falling to Keys or behind Keys 28-21. We'll try to get an updated score there. Comanche beating Hilton tonight 35-14. Wynnewood putting it to Holdenville 47-0. Final score on that. Veneta beating the Ironman of Newada 42-0. It was Hartshorn over Morris 14-12. Kiefer over Morrison 16-14. Spyro beating Sequoia Tahlequah 38-14. It was Fairview beating Alva 26-19, and Sprague beating Stroud 68-22. We'll have the rest of 2A and all of our other small ball scores right after this on the Prep Sports Postgame.
When your health throws you a curveball, many times outpatient rehab is your best option. Aspen Health and Rehab in Broken Arrow is changing the way that Oklahoma families are thinking about long-term care. With every amenity of home, first-class dining, and professionals that put your care first, Aspen Health and Rehab is ready to take on your personalized plan of care. Check them out today at aspenhealthrehab.com. Aspen Health and Rehab, where healthcare and luxury come together.
Why did we choose Rogers State University?
I like the smaller classes. I like a professor who knows me by name.
I like living on campus.
I like receiving financial aid to help me with tuition.
Discover RSU for yourself.
Our education, our goals, our future. It all starts here. Your future begins now at Rogers State University in Northeast Oklahoma. In-state tuition available. Learn more at rsu.edu.
When Oklahoma companies need a copier, they choose NES. NES has an exciting new partnership that is saving clients time and money. Owner Eddie Silkey is here to tell us more about the Epson difference.
They have come up with a patented technology called Precision Core. It's a heat-free technology. It's affordable. It is easy to use. From a service perspective, very few parts that need to be replaced. It's a simple device.
Find out more by calling 918-665-5502 today.
Squirtle is Oklahoma's premium scoring app for high school sports statewide. Through Squirtle, not only can sports fans check their team's scores, rankings, district standings, and schedules, they can find state brackets, chat live on the new chat forum, or use the new fan poll to pick individual game winners. Updates are rolling out regularly, keeping the app fresh and current. Know the score of games across Oklahoma. Download the Squirtle app now for free in the Apple or Android store. Always know the score with Squirtle.
Hi guys, it's Andrew with Park Ridge Medical Clinic. Are you struggling with erectile dysfunction and sick of the pills? Well, I have great news. Park Ridge Medical uses the most advanced form of wave therapy, clinically proven to repair blood vessels and increase blood flow where you want it most. Our technology was shown to be safe and effective by Cambridge University. If you're struggling with erectile dysfunction and want to get your love life back, call us in the next 2 minutes and you'll qualify for the initial assessment, exam, even the blood flow ultrasound, totally free. We'll also include a special gift that I don't think I've ever seen fail. It produces immediate results in the bedroom. This is a $550 package, but call us now and it's totally free. 405-839-7000. That's 405-839-7000. Put a stop to your erectile dysfunction by treating the root cause of the problem. Call Park Medical Clinic right now to qualify. 405-839-7000.
Welcome home to Cross Timbers Apartments in South Oklahoma City. With an on-site dog park, business center, and on-site gym, you'll be glad you're living at Cross Timbers Apartments. Located in the heart of South OKC on South May Avenue next to Pub W and a short walk from Early Wine Park. With quick access to I-240 and I-44, you can be at Dell or downtown in just minutes. Visit Cross Timbers today for a limited time special on our 2-bedroom, 1-bath apartments. Cross Timbers Apartments, a Case and Associates property.
So this one time at B-Dubs, 2 friends came in for BOGO Boneless Thursdays and was hyping it up like crazy, talking about how our boneless are meatier, crispier, and juicier than ever. Plus, they're buy one, get one free all day on Thursdays. That's like finding a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow and another one full of free wings. To the greatest of all times. Get here for Boneless Thursdays at Buffalo Wild Wings. BOGO Boneless wings of equal value at participating locations on Thursdays. Not valid with other offers. Size exclusions apply. While supplies last. Limit 1. Fees may apply.
It is the Prep Sports Postgame across the great state of Oklahoma tonight. It is 10:16. I'm Grant Merrill. He is Randy Heights. We were in the midst of the 2A portion of the NES scoreboard powered by Squirtle. So let's finish up on our 2A, and then we'll get to some of our guests here in a few minutes before we go over Class A, B, and C scores tonight. Warner beats Henrietta tonight 28-7. Woodland over Newkirk 40-0. Kansas beats Ketchum. They're the only Kansas team winning tonight. Well, hello, Coastal Carolina.
Hey, they put up a fight tonight.
Powerhouse that they are. Kansas, Oklahoma beating Ketchum 42-0. It was Pauls Valley over Tishomingo 61-14. Washington over Lindsay 55-12. Berry Hill beats Cassia Hall 35-7. Marlow over Anadarko. My Uncle Jim Sparks ought to be jumping up and down as an old Marlow man. They end up beating Anadarko 58-6. We'll have a report later in the show on Perry and Tonkawa. Perry's Maroons beat Tonkawa 13-12. Lincoln Christian 49-13 over Vian tonight. Let's see here. We've got Wowoka falling to Mogi 42-18. The final in that one. Wayne beats Lexington tonight, or it was up on Lexington 46-6 in the fourth quarter. Haskell beating Porter Consolidated 40-0 tonight. Davis falling to Sulphur 27-14. Pecola beating Salisaw Central 47-20. Caney Valley over Kellyville 22-12. Kingfisher beating Chisholm tonight 48-8. Antlers up on Colgate. They beat them 30-7. Medill beating Mariana, or at least leading in the third quarter 44. It's probably safe to say Medill got that one. Jones leading Luther 50-12 in the fourth quarter. Inola beating Salina tonight, and that was 19-12 final score. Oklahoma Christian School beating Crossings 9-0. Bristow over Chandler, as we mentioned earlier. Stigler beating Blackwell. Long trip for Stigler tonight, 41-0 final score there. They'll have a nice ride home. And Star Spencer over Western Heights at 56-0. So with that, caller just yet. Let's go to Class A scores.
Actually, I do think we have our first guest.
Okay, Chris Lincoln. Is Chris Lincoln on the air with us?
Hello again.
There he is. Well, there's Chris Lincoln. Signature line there as Chris Lincoln had the Backyard Bowl, Union and Jinx, and Jinx shuts him out a second year in a row, my friend.
You're right there, Grant. I tell you, it was, these two schools, of course, have dominated 6A1 football. They've been the class of the state for years and years. For 21 seasons. Think about this, guys. From 1996 to 2016, either Union or Jinx won the state championship gold ball. 13 titles for Jenks, 8 for Union. And these teams then had just incredible crowd turnout for their games. When they were playing at the University of Tulsa, they averaged 27,000 fans a game. And of course, highlighted by that incredible 1999 game. I'll never forget that. They had 40,385 fans in attendance for the high school football game to watch Jenks and Union. They just played classic games. Tonight, not so much. Not a classic game. As Jenks shut out number 1 ranked Union 22-0. That is the second year in a row, guys, that the Trojans have shut out Union. They beat them last year 28-0. This was the 65th meeting. Jenks now is up 42-23 on that, and it was really a story of Jenks making some big plays and Union making no plays. Jenks scored first with 3:40 left in the first quarter. Jaden Carroll, a 50-yard pass, and Shaker Reisig. And this kid was the story. Shaker Reisig is a true freshman, a 9th grader who moved into the Jenks system 2 or 3 years ago from New York, whereas he was a big motocross guy and decided he wanted to try some football. And this kid really looks sharp. I mean, a true freshman, and he lit things up at the stadium tonight. His stats, he was passing tonight, 13 of 18, 152 yards and 1 touchdown, but had some big throws. They got on the board first at 7-0. Then with 3:53 left before halftime, Jaden Carroll scored on the 1-yard run, and they messed up the extra point attempt, but Colby Parsons picked it up and threw it into Ty Walls in the end zone. That made it 15-0 at the half. There was no scoring in the third quarter, and Jenks wrapped things up with 11-12 left in the game. A halfback pass from Jalen Stanford to Ty Walls of 69 yards. So Carroll had 2 touchdowns, and Carroll and Walls had 1. I mentioned second shutout in a row for Jenks over Union, and now both these teams get a break next week before they head into district play. For the Union football team, they'll be off next week. Then they host Owasso coming up at Union, the new stadium, on the 24th. While Jenks also has a bye week, they'll be hosting Enid on the 24th. But it was all Union's. Just the stadium looked great tonight, but the football team didn't. In fact, guys, a very sloppy game. We had 12 penalties whistled on Jenks, 10 on Union, for over 140 yards of penalties in the game. So it was it was a quickie. We were done by 9:30 tonight.
Oh, wow.
But MidFirst Bank, credit to them. This is the 18th year MidFirst Bank in Tulsa has sponsored the Backyard Bowl. They contributed $14,000 to each school and had presentations during the halftime, and that was probably the highlight. But really a stunning result for Union. Number 1 ranked 6A team, and Jenks coming off the loss to Bixby the week before, 23-15. And Jenks just overpowered him, just controlled it defensively. Union just couldn't move the ball at all, and it was all Jenks here tonight, guys. A shutout to 22-0 over Union.
All right, Chris, just getting word that Owasso beats Broken Arrow. That one's gone final 42-3 tonight. So Owasso.
Dad wasn't too kind on his son, was he?
Well, I'm sure that there were some signs in the stands who we were expecting the "Who's Your Daddy" signs on the Owasso side. So anyway, thank you, Chris. We'll talk to you next week.
All right, buddy. Look forward to it. Thanks, guys.
Chris Lincoln, who joins us each and every week here on the Prep Sports Postgame with the Union football team this evening. And just kind of a shocker that they end up getting blanked by Jenks 2 years in a row.
Well, and based on what Chris said, really kind of manhandled, if you will. I mean, that's kind of the most surprising. Look at that. 22-0. He said there wasn't much offense for Union in the game. That's what surprised me the most right there.
Yeah, absolutely. And a couple of other 6A scores tonight, as we mentioned. I know we're getting our next guest on the line here. Westmore over Southmore, 35-14 was the last one that we had there. We had a big shootout between Stillwater and Mustang tonight, 32-28, the final score there. It looks like Norman and Moore, they played last night, 41-30, the final in that one. Putnam City over Putnam City West, 55-12. Norman North over Edmond Memorial tonight, 49-25, the final in that one. As we just mentioned, Owasso going final over Broken Arrow, 42-3. And as we mentioned, Jenks over Union, 22-0. And let's go to our next caller on the line. I believe we've got Justin Pettit, who had Lincoln Christian and Vian tonight. Justin, tough night for the Wolverines.
Grant, it sure was. Lincoln Christian lived up to all the hype as they really took it to Vian. 49-13 was the final. They pretty much had their way on offense, and defense looked good. Lincoln Christian, I don't know who's going to beat them at 3A. It's going to be tough. They looked really good tonight.
I looked at the picture from your broadcast position. I couldn't tell if you were in a blimp or at the top of the stadium.
We were at the top. We were literally at the top of the press box. They gave us the option, to be inside, and we're kind of different. We mentioned that on the broadcast. We like being outside with, kind of get a bit more of a feel of the atmosphere and the elements. And so we were way up top and got a good view of everything. But, it was not a good night for the Wolverines.
Well, if you had to pick a Martinez Agency player of the game, could you pick one, or should we just punt to next week?
I'll pick one for Lincoln Christian. Alex Brown, the quarterback for Lincoln Christian, is unbelievable. The young man had 400 yards from our stats of total offense, and it's just unbelievable. If I had to pick one for Vian, it would be Deshaun Mays again. Again, coming in, they had a nice 54-yard touchdown off a screen pass, and Shawnee had a good game. But there's not much Coach Willis and his crew can take from this game. I think it's one of those you just kind of forget about it. They're off next week. Keys come to town in 2 weeks, and just focus on district play.
All right. What is our Mix 105.1 game of the week next week? Have we got one picked yet?
I think we're going to be in Muldrow. Spyro and their new coach, Brett Davis, throwing the ball all over the field. Be interested to see them. And Muldrow, off a tough loss from Roland, picked up a big win over Sequoia last week. They're off this week, so I think we're going to be in Muldrow as the Battle of the Bulldogs between Muldrow and Spyro.
All right. We will expect a full report next week. We appreciate you, Justin.
You got it, guys. Thank you.
All right. Justin Pettit with the Mix 105.1 in Salisaw tonight, joining us here on the Prep Sports Postgame.
Why don't I give some Class A scores while we wait? Eric's getting our next guest on the line. Hinton tonight in a close one over Mangum, 14-13. Concord big over Afton, 63-13. Okmulgee over Wewoka, 42-18. Fairview and Alva, Fairview winning 26-19 in the fourth quarter. Wayne leads Lexington 46-6. Watonga over Rush Springs 54-6. Haskell big, shutting them out. Porter consolidated 40-0. Dibble over Little Axe 31-6. Sayre and Carnegie. Sayre winning 28-14. You got Pecola over Central Salisaw 47-20. And I think we're ready for our next guest, and we'll get to more. Oh,
all right.
We'll keep
going.
Okima and Pawnee. Okima leading 40-30. That game has gone final. Kansas knocks off Ketchum 42-0. Caney Valley over Kellyville 22-12. Oklahoma Bible and Hollis. Oklahoma Bible winning a score fest here. It's an old Big 12 score, Grant. Oklahoma Bible winning 68-38.
Oh, wow.
A lot of points there. Cat over me. We'll get a report from this Cashin game a little later on. Cashin defeats Minko 48-6. Other scores from Class A: Stratford over Allen 35-26. You got Holdenville and Wynnewood. Wynnewood leading 47-0. That game was in the fourth quarter. Hominy and Ponca City JV. Hominy winning 30-8. The final there. Boone Apache over Crescent over Boone Apache. 21-6. Quapaw and Riverton. Riverton wins 32-20. Fairland over Liberty 40-0 in that game. Another one, Kiefer and Morrison. Kiefer winning a close one 16-14. You've got Canadian and Savannah. Savannah winning 26-6 the final in that game. A couple more from Class A as it was a busy night across the board. Tulsa Noah doubling up Oklahoma Union 48-28. Frederick over Hobart 55-13. Prague knocks off Stroud 68-22. Woodland with a shutout. Newkirk 40-0. Warner over Henrietta 28-7. Commerce knocks off Chelsea 40-12. Shoto and Wyandotte. Shoto wins 23-14. Comanche Comanche knocks off Hilton 35-14. Burns Flat Dill City over Cordell 42-6. Couple more still. Perry over Tonkawa in a 1-point game here. Perry winning 13-12. Gore over Mounds 48-16. And tomorrow it will be Merritt and Oklahoma Christian Academy. That game's slated for noon tomorrow.
Okay, a couple of B scores before we get to another break. Caddo over Waletka tonight, 26-14. Balco Forgan beating Tyrone 62-30. Strother over Wellston 56-8. Yale beats Coyle 42-8. 50-8. The final score is Davenport beats Wetumpka tonight. Shattuck over Destiny Christian 44-14. Regent Prep over Southwest Covenant 45-0. Snyder over Granfield 52-0. Claremore Christian with a big win over Porham tonight, 54-8, the final in that one. It was Quinton over Gans, 50-0. Garber over Depew, 50-0 as well. Tipton over Corn Bible, 15-0. Drumright beats Wesley Christian, 54-40. Kremlin Hillsdale over Medford, 44-8. Mountain View Gotebo beating Cyril tonight, 56-6, and it was Turpin over Boise City, 38-16. More scores, more reports straight ahead. This is the Prep Sports Postgame on the GameDayOklahoma.com network.
Dr. Matt Dieselhorst at Dieselhorst Sports and Orthopedics can help you get game day ready. Dr. Dieselhorst works with athletes of all ages, taking a coordinated approach to accelerate return to play and maximize athletic performance. His work with pros in sports training, injury prevention, bracing, functional rehabilitation, and imaging works seamlessly with his medical and surgical expertise. Get started by going to Dieselhorst Sports and Orthopedics. Let Dr. Matt Dieselhorst get you back on the field, backing all Oklahoma athletes on the field and off.
Let's face it, high school and college sports have changed, and if you plan on taking your talents to the next level, marketing is the name of the game. That is where the Martinez Agency comes in. The Martinez Agency is one of the fastest growing sports marketing firms in the region and can help you set up marketing avenues for your athletes. From player websites to navigating the ever-changing rules of name, imaging, and likeness to generating sponsorship dollars, the Martinez Agency does it all. Athletes, it is time to share your brand story. Log on to martinez-agency.com and find out how today.
If you're a coach or athletic director, this message is for you. Legacy Entertainment has provided light and sound for Oklahoma's hottest concerts for years, but now they're helping schools just like yours elevate their game day atmosphere. From providing light and sound systems to coordinating your team's run-through with fog machines and the hottest elements out there, they'll make sure Friday nights are never the same again. They've helped schools like OU, and they'll help you too. Check them out at legacyllc.net. Legacy Entertainment, where every day is game day.
As the Oklahoma Turnpike Authority continues infrastructure modernization, there's never been a better time to have a Pike Pass. Pike Pass account holders enjoy the best toll rates available and interoperability with Kansas and Texas. Open a Pike Pass account today at pikepass.com. Create your own Oklahoma adventure on Amtrak's Heartland Flyer. Enjoy free Wi-Fi, plug-in power, big windows, comfy seats, and 5 stops in Oklahoma. Experience a better way to travel today at Amtrak.com/Heartland.
Lock Supply in Oklahoma City is the Southwest's premier provider of plumbing, electrical, and HVAC supplies. Since 1955, Lock Supply has grown from a small store in Bartlesville to over 180 branches in 7 states, employing over 1,300 employee owners. Are you ready to consider a career where hard work and loyalty matter? Work for a company that is driven to make sure that the team members have the ability to retire comfortably. Thought what it would be like to work at a 100% employee-owned company? Lock Supply has many incredible full-time opportunities at local branches or in their warehouse. With medical benefits, a 401k program, and an employee stock ownership plan, Lock Supply is not just a great place to work, it's a great place to have a career. For more information, visit locksupply.com and follow the link under career, or just email your resume to careers@locksupply.com. Again, that's careers@LOCKE-supply.com.
In America, the future belongs to everyone. So we built the freshest slab SUVs in America for everyone. Because the SUVs of the future aren't built for a few. They're built for America. Ford SUVs, drive one today. Based on AutoSource Incorporated data obtained on 10/5/20. Visit your Oklahoma Ford dealer to take advantage of great offers available now on Ford Escape, Edge, Explorer, and Expedition. Choose from low financing and big cash rebates. See your best in Oklahoma Ford dealer today.
Ken Boyer is everywhere. When a loved one has stumbled and ends up in jail, call Ken Boyer to make the bail. For immediate bonding day or night, look no further than Ken Boyer Bail Bonds. With over 35 years experience, let Ken and his professional staff help you. Open 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, accepting all major credit cards. Conveniently located just 3 blocks north of the jail at the corner of Northwest 6th and Chartel. The right bondsman can make a difference. Call Ken Boyer Bail Bonds.
Back here on the Prep Sports Post Game, Grant Merrill and Randy Heights along with you. Eric King punching all the buttons, making us sound good. And we will have Todd Miller coming up here in just a moment as we get you set on all the scores from across the state. Couple more B scores tonight. It looks like we told you that Boise City fell to Turpin tonight, 38-16, the final in that one. Thackerville falling to Wilson tonight, 64-8, the final there. Timberlake beating Wacomas, final score 54-6. Bowlegs falling to Arcoma, the Mustangs blanking them 52-0. Pioneer Pleasantville whipping up on Cherokee. We will actually have a report on that game from Tom Nelson coming up in the next few minutes. That was a Squirtle 8-man game of the week, 46-0 the final score there. Alma beating Maysville tonight, 48-0. Pond Creek Hunter falling to Maud, 56-32 final score there. But, well, hang on here because we've also got a Pond Creek Hunter Buffalo game on the Squirtle score.
Well, it's 8-man, but they're so good they can play 2 games.
They may be able to juggle everybody. If I could juggle my words, that'd be we'd have a much better show. Laverne beating Waurika tonight, 58-18. Barnsdall over Copan, 54-8. Alec over Marlow Central, 54-6. Canton beating Beaver tonight, 57-8. Summit Christian beating Foyle, 53-8. Sealing over O'Keene, 46-0. Kyoto over Prue, 40-0. And Empire beating Temple tonight, 50-0. Back to the big schools, we had Putnam City North on the road. They visited Piedmont tonight, and the legend Todd Miller was on the road to call that game with Adam Dieselhorse tonight. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well, and so too are the Putnam City North Panthers, who got back on the winning track tonight.
Well, good deal. Tell us a little bit about how it went down, because that was kind of the game of the week all over the place tonight.
It was really a good football game. Final score: Putnam City North wins it 26-10. When you play Piedmont, you're going to be out on the field with your defense for a long, long time. Putnam City North only had the football, Grant, for 4 plays of the first 35 snaps of the ball game. Yet they led 13-0 at halftime, thanks to some special teams that set them up on a couple of 2-play drives, one of 27 yards, the other of 34 yards. They were playing, the Panthers were tonight, without their outstanding junior quarterback, Carson Laverty, who's one of the better quarterbacks in the class of 2022 in the state of Oklahoma. His replacement, Robert Duke, basically just ran the offense, got the ball to Amarion Norman, who had a big first half, scored both of those touchdowns, as I told you, and then they were able to kind of solidify things with a touchdown drive to start the second half and go on to win by a count of 26-10. I will tell you this. I really have a lot of respect for the Piedmont Wildcats. They had less than 30 plays in 2 scrimmages this year. They have a ton of young kids playing at skilled positions on the offensive side of the football. And once the game looked like, to me, it slowed down to them, they played well from the second period on. And I think Jeff Hall's going to have a team that in Class 5A District 2 is going to surprise some people. Very young, but they've got a bright future ahead of them.
Todd, who is your Martinez Agency player of the game tonight?
I'm going to have to go with Norman. Had 2 touchdowns. They really rode him hard in the first half. Again, without Laverty, they're going with a backup quarterback that had not made a varsity start in Robert Duke. So it was a healthy dose of Amari and Norman in the first half, and he responded with those 2 touchdowns and really played well from an offensive standpoint for the Panthers.
Do we know who you'll be calling next week, or is that still are we still negotiating that with Squirtle?
They have not announced their schedule. I will tell you, I will not be calling a game next week. I'll be back in a couple of weeks. So, okay. And speaking of Squirtle, I will tell you this, for the listeners across the state, they just decided tonight that they're going to pick up the Soul Bowl tomorrow at 1 o'clock between Millwood and Douglas. So that game can be viewed on Squirtle as well.
Yeah, I just found out who was broadcasting that ball game.
That's exactly right. You're doing it, aren't you?
Yeah. Well, I decided to go ahead and I'm going to be over at the Comfort Inn tonight, and we're going to stay over and do some Soul Bowl ball tomorrow. And
Adam said, do you think Grant Merrill would do the game? And I said, well, I'm sure he would if he doesn't have anything to do on Saturday.
Hey, look, my wife is hosting the Edison High School volleyball tournament tomorrow, so no offense to those young ladies, but there's nowhere I'd rather be than the Soul Bowl. So,
hey, I wish I could be there, but I have other commitments tomorrow night. So.
Yeah, are you home tomorrow night, or you got another long drive like last week, Todd?
No, believe it or not, we're home. Arkansas Monticello at 6 o'clock, so that won't be quite as bad. But yeah, we're at home, fortunately.
Ain't nothing more evil than a boll weevil. So anyway,
that's exactly right.
All right, brother.
That's exactly right.
Good luck to the Bison tomorrow night. We'll talk to you next week.
Thank you, guys. You're doing a great job.
All right, that's Todd Miller, as he's, of course, the voice of Squirtle TV and had Putnam City North at Piedmont tonight.
Yeah, that man's a hardworking guy.
Yeah, he's
way
everywhere.
around.
He's everywhere. And not to mention the lovely bride, the first lady of the broadcast, Mary Margaret Miller. She goes everywhere with him and keeps his stats. So, she's quick on the calculator and gives him all the right numbers. She's the one that makes that broadcast go.
There you go.
Todd will be the first to admit that.
That's the way it goes, right, for a lot of relationships.
Absolutely. We'll talk to Bill Huddleston coming up here in the next few minutes. I want to get Coach Robert Borgstadt from over at Edison on the line with us as well. Edison's Eagles beating Memorial in the Crosstown Classic there in Tulsa tonight, and we'll have Brent Kellogg coming up later in the hour as well. A couple of Class C scores tonight. Let's see if we can grab those before we get to our next caller. And it looks like that a few of these scores we've got. Kremlin Hillsdale beating Medford tonight 44-8. Let's see here. Drumride over Wesleyan. We mentioned that one 54-40. Snyder over Granfield 52-0. Let's see. Trying to find ones we haven't announced.
No, I will give you some advice here on doing the scoreboard show in Oklahoma. There's only 2 classes of 8-man.
Yes.
It gets ugly on the scoreboard when it's this time because they cross over like madmen.
Yeah.
Which I understand. I mean, you can only play so many teams.
Yale beating Coyle. I think we mentioned that one. And here's one that we didn't mention. Ryan beating Graham Dustin tonight, 52-16. And we did mention Barnstall over Copan 54-8. Paoli beating Bray Doyle 22-12 tonight. Canton over Beaver 57-8. And Arcoma over Bowlegs tonight 52-0. So with that, let's see if we can we'll get our next score in our next report. Let's go to Bill Huddleston, voice of the Muskogee Roughers. Rough ride home from Northwest Arkansas tonight. Bill, you guys took it on the chin against the Rogers Mounties.
Yeah, we did. To be honest with you, from the very, very get-go, it was, to say the least, it was a very rough ride. Muskogee got to Rogers, and, I mean, just bam, 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 bam. The quarterback for Rogers tonight throws 5 touchdown passes in the first half. By halftime, it's a 49-6 ball game, and it just didn't get any better the rest of the night. I mean, it was a perfect storm as far as the Mounties were concerned. Of course, they'd had a week off. Their game last week against Stillwell was canceled because of COVID, so they'd had 2 weeks to prepare. And quite frankly, I think surprised Muskogee a lot because they'd shown a pretty stout running game in the first matchup. But then tonight, I mean, it was open up the floodgates and go to the air and then use the run to substantiate that, and just made things happen all night long. And then what the offense didn't do, the defense did. A pick 6 in the first half to add to that. So the quarterback tonight for the Mounties was just, I mean, it was a picture-perfect performance for him, and he's just went from bad to worse for Muskogee in a hurry, and it was a long night for the guys wearing the green and white.
Our Martinez Agency player of the game, who would that be for you this evening?
Well, that's what I'm trying to scramble through. They kind of caught me driving down the highway here trying to find my notes.
That's all right.
But it certainly has to be the quarterback for the Mounties tonight. I mean, the senior quarterback receiving. Last name is Good Shield.
Yes.
13 to 16 passing for 213 yards and 5 scores. One of his wide receivers, Sheldon Ridge, had 6 catches for 168 yards and 3 touchdowns, plus had a 56-yard punt return to go with that. But I have to think Good Shield, the quarterback of the Mounties tonight, was the hero. He made things work to perfection, and it was a solid performance by the guys wearing the blue and white there at Whitey Smith Stadium in Rogers.
Next up for the Muskogee Roughers.
Off week. Couldn't come at a better time for a ball club that is young, trying to learn how to play football against top-notch competition, trying to overcome some injuries, but they've got an off week, and then 2 weeks from tonight we'll start district play when they travel to Putnam City West.
All right, Bill, safe travels, and I don't have to remind you, don't speed through Westville.
Trust me, I'm not even going that way. I'm actually going to Joplin. I'm going to spend the night and then follow Northeastern State tomorrow afternoon in their game against Missouri Southern.
Okay, enjoy those Red Hawks. Appreciate you, man.
We'll see you later. Take care.
There you
Bye-bye.
go. That's the legendary Bill Huddleston on Okie Country 101.7 in beautiful Muskogee, Oklahoma tonight. They were on the road to the Rogers Mounties.
You got to love those speed trap cities. I'm
I know
guessing
them all.
Westville is one.
Yes, absolutely. Westville's one of them. And anyway, believe me, I can give you a whole rundown at some point in my driving record, and Oklahoma cities are just dotted all
It's been a
over
bad
it,
month for me, so I understand. I
get it. All right, it's 10:45. Coming up here in just a few minutes, we will get to more reports and, of course, another full hour of scores here in just a little bit. If you want to tweet us, you can do that. I am at Grant Merrill, GrantMerrill. He is RJ Heights 1077, and we would love to hear from you on Twitter tonight. So we've gone over all of our different scores. We kind of talked about some of the different ones that stood out to us. Again, we had Jinx getting shut out for the second year in a row. That was a surprise. I was actually kind of surprised as to how big Owasso won over Broken Arrow tonight, Randy.
Yeah, I mean, that was very impressive there. I mean, when you look at what Owasso did to Broken Arrow, and we haven't got, it's total domination there. I mean, I expected that to be a little bit of a closer game there because I kind of look at those schools on the east side of the state, the four, Union, Jinx, Broken Arrow, Owasso, all kind of on that same level. And yet you look at two of those games involving the teams tonight, they were pretty much one-sided, which kind of caught me off guard.
Absolutely. So those out of 6A, those are some pretty big ones tonight. We'll try to get you set up. I think Bill Blankenship may be joining us here later in the show as well. Oolaga's Mustangs, we talked about them a little earlier tonight. They had a big win over Claremore. Voice of the Mustangs, Brent Kellogg, with us. And that's a big win for your program tonight, Brent.
It was a great win for the Mustangs. And Grant and Randy, first of all, thank you guys for what you do. I want to ask you a question, though.
Yes.
How do you think Thanksgiving dinner is going to go at the Blankenship house this year? You know what I'm saying?
Very quiet.
I think I'm going to say that if Angie Blankenship has anything to do with it, they may just not talk about it. So
probably so.
I don't know.
I know the Gundy brothers had that rule; they couldn't talk about football way back when. So
yeah, exactly.
Well, I feel bad for Angie. I know that she, being a mom and a wife, and Bill told multiple media people in the Tulsa market that she was actually not attending the game tonight. So hopefully Thanksgiving dinner will be okay. But
hey, the Tulsa area, they are just legacy family. I mean, Bill's a longtime friend of mine. I just love the Blankenship family.
Yes.
It's so cool to see what Josh is doing at Broken Arrow. So anyway, the Rogers County Rumble took place in Claremore tonight. The Mustangs were on the road. We actually haven't played Claremore since like 2013. And so it's an old rivalry game.
Brent, hang on just a second. We're up against a hard break. We're going to put you on hold for just a second. We'll come to you right out of the break. You're listening to the Prep Sports Post Game on the GameDayOklahoma.com network, and we will be back with Brent Kellogg, voice of Oolaga, right after this. Hang on.
When your health throws you a curveball, many times outpatient rehab is your best option. Aspen Health and Rehab in Broken Arrow is changing the way that Oklahoma families are thinking about long-term care. With every amenity of home, first-class dining, and professionals that put your care first, Aspen Health and Rehab is ready to take on your personalized plan. Check them out today at Aspen AspenHealth.com. Aspen Health and healthcare and luxury come together.
Squirtle is Oklahoma's premium scoring app for high school sports statewide. Through Squirtle, not only can sports fans check their team's scores, rankings, district standings, and schedules, they can find state playoff brackets, chat live with a new chat forum, or use the new fan poll to pick individual game winners. Updates are rolling out regularly, keeping the app fresh and current. Know the score of games across Oklahoma. Download the Squirtle app now for free in the Apple or Android store. Always know the score with Squirtle.
Why did we choose Rogers State University?
I like the smaller classes. I like a professor who knows me by name.
I like living on campus. I like receiving financial aid to help me with tuition.
Discover RSU for yourself.
Our education, our goals, our future. It all starts here. Your future begins now at Rogers State University in Northeast Oklahoma. In-state tuition available. Learn more at ru.edu.
As the Oklahoma Turnpike Authority continues infrastructure modernization, there's never been a better time to have a Pike Pass. Pike Pass account holders enjoy the best toll rates available and interoperability with Kansas and Texas. Open a Pike Pass account today at pikepass.com. Create your own Oklahoma adventure on Amtrak's Heartland Flyer. Enjoy free Wi-Fi, plug-in power, big windows, comfy seats, and 5 stops in Oklahoma. Experience a better way to travel. Book today at Amtrak.com/Heartland Flyer.
You know, I just assumed I was too old anymore.
As you age, it gets worse. I really thought I had aged out of the process.
More and more 40, 50, and 60-somethings are learning something surprisingly spectacular about their vision. And what's possible at nearly any age with help from Dr. Luke and his team at ClearSight.
One of the common concerns or questions that we get is, am I too old for LASIK? Am I too old for vision correction?
It's hard to believe that my vision can be so clear.
Thankfully, we can treat the full spectrum from 18 years old up until, whenever you want to have your vision corrected.
It starts with a free, no-obligation eye exam.
Lens replacement is made for people who think that they're too old to have LASIK.
I retired, I came back here, I listened to the ClearSight ads, and I thought to myself, let's find out what we can do.
0% financing for 36 months makes it more affordable and more possible than ever.
No glasses, no contacts. It was fabulous.
Call 733-2020 or visit clearsight.com.
Tradition ain't built on idle hands. It's slow cooked over centuries, time, energy, and effort. If you're a part of it, you protect it. You tend the flame with grit, discipline, and heart. There's no quit, no end game. Yesterday is today's tradition. Transformation will be tomorrow's. A Schwab dog is legendary, no matter how you dress it. I'm Caleb Williams, and I dress mine with mustard.
Saturday on Fox, Big Noon is coming in hot with the Pac-12 Big Ten Heavyweight Showdown. As Coach Cristobal and Oregon head to the shoe to face C.J. Stroud and the Ohio State Buckeyes. Wow! This is pound for pound, best in their division, champ versus champ. And it all starts live at 10 Eastern with the Big Noon Kickoff pregame show sponsored by Wendy's. Then it's Oregon, Ohio State in the Big Noon Saturday Game of the Week, Saturday on Fox. And watch anywhere on the Fox Sports app.
Oh, yeah. Getting the little 80s new wave
It's like, we
music
got the
in
good
there.
music every now and then, yeah.
Absolutely. That's the type of stuff Brent Kellogg used to play back in the day. Brent, the voice of the Oologah Mustangs, are you still with us?
I'm still with you guys.
Well, y'all probably didn't play New Wave on KXOJ, I don't guess.
No, not a lot. But, I did time at Mix 96 and did time at Country Station down in Muskogee. And
that's true.
Did a little time down in Baton Rouge, actually.
That's true. But you were, I bet if I had $1 for every time you've heard queued up the verse, saddle up your horses, I'd probably be a millionaire. So
I wanted to be him. Like I had Stephen Curtis Chapman hair in the 90s.
Oh, I could only imagine it. All right, 10:52. Let's go back to the Oologah Claremore game where Brent Kellogg, of course, called that one tonight. Mustangs winning that one in the Rogers County rivalry. Who was your Martinez Agency player of the game tonight, Brent?
Man, I tell you what, we had a receiver just go off tonight. And, of course, our size school, we got a lot of guys that go both ways. So you'll see him on defense as well. He's a baseball player by trade, but he's played football. A.J. Streeter had 11 catches, 205 yards. Just had a breakout night that we desperately needed. The Mustangs just struggled in the first three quarters, but in the fourth quarter, 23 unanswered points. And we actually had a freshman, Gavin Salt, put it away with an interception. Claremore had a chance to score a touchdown that would have, if they'd have kicked the PAT to give them the extra point to go ahead. But just Mustang magic happened again. I've done this. I think it's my third season for Mustangs. Just the best game I called. It was just an exciting game. Claremore does a great job hosting and incredible facilities. Just a fun game on the plains of Rogers County.
All right. Next up for Oologah, who you got?
We're going to Hilldale, and that may actually be a late start, just a pretty good little road game for us. And that's typically the district we cross over with this playoff time. They're the kind of the southern district of eastern Oklahoma, and so we got a great relationship with Hilldale. We'll be on the road at Hilldale next week.
Perfect. Brent, appreciate you being with us tonight.
Thank you, guys. Have a good one.
All right. Oologah beating Hilldale tonight, and Brent Kellogg was there. Of course, coming up in the next hour, we got a lot of games to cover. Still a lot of people to talk to as week 2 continues.
It's been our biggest night, I think, of guests when you look at this lineup, and that's something different we do here on this show, Grant. It's not just about reading scores. It's checking in with coaches, checking in with reporters and announcers that were at the games. We want firsthand looks because the one thing we can't do, Grant, on Friday nights, we can't go out to these games because we have to be here in studio to host the scoreboard show and give these reports to the folks.
Don't forget Soul Bowl tomorrow. We will have that one on Squirtle TV. I'll have the call of that one. We hope that you will be with us for that. Do want to put in some plugs for those of you who will be watching on Squirtle. Grant Merrill, Randy Heights along with you, 10:55, 5 away from 11, and we've got a full another hour coming up of the Prep Sports Post Game here on the GameDayOklahoma.com network as we appreciate you being with us tonight. All right, let's go to Owasso. Coach Bill Blankenship joining us tonight. Coach, question everybody wants to know after a 42-3 win against your son, was it weird?
Oh, more than weird, no question. I mean, it's just there's parts of it that I absolutely hate, parts of it I absolutely love. Just hard to explain to people. I mean, we live a coach's life, and so there's a lot of empathy for what's going on the other side.
Yeah.
But by the same token, I'm incredibly proud of our players. Thought they executed and played really, really well.
All right, I want to talk about something other than football for just a second, and that was the wonderful article that Bill Haston of the Tulsa World did this week.
Right.
First of all, congratulations on the 3 new grandchildren that your son Josh. Y'all finalized an adoption yesterday. He's back in play this big game against your Owasso Rams. I know it's been a crazy week for your family, but just kind of talk about how this is meant to what all this is meant to you.
Well, Josh and Lindsay really got involved in fostering after they moved to Colorado. Had a handful of foster kids that we've absolutely loved, every one of them. Brought in 2 siblings, a little boy, or actually 2 little boys, and really figured out pretty early on that if it worked out, they really thought they might want to adopt these. They have an older sister who was actually not in their home originally.
Right.
And they brought the older sister in 6 months ago and have kind of jumped. They've had the boys for about 9-10 months and Espy, the sister, for 6 or 7.
Wow.
And just jumping through all the hoops. In the meantime, taking a new job, moving out of state. There was a lot of stuff that had to fall into place for this to work. And then when the judge sets adoption, apparently you don't just schedule it like you do a dentist appointment.
Oh, wow.
And so they're going to do that on Thursday, September 9th. And so if they want to do what they want to do, they got to get out to Alamosa, which is, anybody that knows where it is, it's in the middle of the high desert down in Southern California or Southern Colorado.
Right.
And so they got to get out there by Thursday or Wednesday night, and Thursday morning get the adoption, and then haul tail back to get back here. Josh drove in this morning, and Lindsay and the kids got here this afternoon. So it's been a wild deal, but let me tell you, it was very emotional for us to get the Zoom call and see the judge as they did all the finalizing of bringing those kids into our family and making them, loving them just like we do our biological grandkids. So lots of cool stuff going on in our family.
Wow.
And, some of that was not football, but we just very, very.
We just wanted to talk about that for a moment because it's such a special thing, and that's 13 for you, right?
Yes, yeah. Josh and Lindsay had 4 bio kids, and they added these 3, and so they like to kind of. They started saying they were going September 9th, so it was 9/9 party of 9. So they would become a party of 9 from that point. So they've got seven grands, and we add our other 2 kids, their grandkids, and we're up to 13 now.
Coach, highlights of the Owasso Broken Arrow game tonight. Who was your Martinez Agency player of the game this evening?
Oh man, I don't know. I tell you, it was pretty amazing offensively. We really spread it out, had big plays all the way around. Cole Adams continues to just to blow up and do really well. Keelan Carney made great plays. Ronnie Thomas again. Jeray Austin finally got loose like he's done in the past. So receivers were all over the place. I thought one of the big plays, and I know he played well on defense.
Hang on just a second. We're going to take 10 seconds to do our station identification for all of our affiliates, and then we'll be right back.
RXO FM and KRXO HD Oklahoma City, a product of Tyler Media. Vote the franchise your favorite station for sports.
All right, 11 o'clock, hour number 2 of the Prep Sports Post Game, live from Oklahoma City and on 20 great radio stations across the state and up in 97.1 country. Bill Blankenship joining us from Owasso, and we were just talking about the Owasso Broken Arrow game, 42-3 tonight, the final score there. Bill Blankenship, of course, for the first time in his career, coaching against his son, Josh Blankenship, who took the job at Broken Arrow earlier this year. And Coach, you were talking about Cole Adams and how he was really standing out for you this evening, and Keelan Carney and some of these other guys. You told me over the summer this may be your best receiving core so far, or at least one of the better ones of your career. Are they living up to that?
Well, Grant, I think it's the deepest we've had. We've got really quality receivers, 4 across that we could. People can't double somebody because they're all able to make those kind of big plays. But they did that. Cody Chase, though, may have had the play of the game early in the second quarter. He pulled down a punt. We were going to do a little rugby punt, pulled it down, got a big first down for us, and kind of changed the momentum back around. So lots of great things going on.
All right. Well, of all of the different things, I'll ask you, since this is just the most unique game that we will talk about tonight with all of the circumstances. But, when you look back on this one in playing Josh for the first time and playing Broken Arrow for the first time, what's your biggest takeaway from it? I mean, what stood out to you overall?
I can't explain it. I don't know what to say. I mean, just imagine your son that you've raised and everything you do. I mean, you don't think about that we're going to go head to head and trying to beat each other's teams. I mean, I'm incredibly proud of him and what they've been doing, and then the program. And he's got several coaches on his staff that are dear friends of us, and some that have played for me and coached with me. And so, I mean, we're really tight, and it's just. I don't really like the deal going against friends or family, but I guess that's kind of part of what we have to do in this job. So.
All right, Coach. Bye week for Owasso next week, and then you take on Union.
Yes, sir. We'll be over in the new stadium, and got to get hooked up.
All right, brother. We'll look to talk to you in 2 weeks. Thanks for being on with us.
Thank you, Grant. All right, bye-bye.
All right, Bill Blankenship joining us from the Owasso Rams tonight. And, usually we fire off the intro and start into our second hour.
It was a unique deal.
When you've got a story that cool, and you've got a story that, that everybody's kind of talking about tonight around the state, we just wanted to spend a little more time with Bill Blankenship before we get to all of our scores.
And, it's a unique thing. And I know he said good and bad about it. And I wanted to ask him, but I know we were up against it in the sense of he'd been on for a while, taking enough time out of his day. But, I got to believe the good for him is just looking across and the pride you have to see, seeing your son, not just coaching like as a coordinator or something like that on the opposing team, but running his own program with all the success that Coach Blankenship's had through his career. Now to see his sons starting to live up to that same level of success that he's had throughout his career.
All right, let's go over our scoreboard here in just a second, and we'll get back to the rest of our guests here starting about 11:15 or so. Again, Prep Sports Post Game, hour number 2. We appreciate you being with us here on the Game Day Oklahoma Network. 6A scores, as we talked about, you just heard from Bill Blankenship. Owasso beating Broken Arrow tonight, 42-3. Jinx shutting out Union, second year in a row. 22-0, the final score there. Edmond Santa Fe over Edmond North tonight, 35-7. It was Norman North over Edmond Memorial, 49-25. Putnam City beats Putnam City West, 55-12. Moore over Norman last night, 41-30. Stillwater beats Mustang, 32-28 in a shootout tonight. It was Deer Creek over Yukon, 35-14. Moving over to 6A2 this evening. John Marshall beats Northwest Classen 59-0. Sapulpa beating Bartlesville 34-14. It was Rogers over Muskogee 56-12. Del City over Carl Albert 52-20. Ponca City beats McLean tonight 37-0. It was U.S. Grant over Capitol Hill 39-28. Hominy beats the Ponca City JV Wildcats 30-8. Choctaw getting handed their first loss of the season. Dallas Jesuit winning that ball game 36-29. As we mentioned, Deer Creek over Yukon, 35-14. Putnam City North beating Piedmont, as we heard from Todd Miller in the last hour, 26-10. MacArthur beating Lawton, 41-21. And it was Midwest City over Noble, 14-12. As we mentioned, Putnam City over Putnam City West, 55-12. 5A scores.
All right, let's go through some 5A. We're working on our next guest here on the program. 5A. Lawton Mac and Lawton played tonight. Mac wins 41-21. U.S. Grant Capitol Hill. Grant knocks off Capitol Hill 36-28. Will Rogers and Nathan Hill. Rogers winning 50-30. McAllister over Ada 42-14. Eisenhower and Altus. That's Lawton Ike and Altus. Ike wins 48-13. Ardmore over Shawnee. 42-14 the final in that game. Woodward knocks off Bethany 17-12. Southeast in class and SAS. Southeast wins 39-34. Oologah over Claremore 30-24. Elk City knocks off Guyman 62-8. Bishop McGinnis over Bishop Kelly 49-6. Wagner over Tahlequah 21-7. Skiatook in Collinsville. Collinsville wins 43-7 the final in that game. Coweta over Frontenac, I believe it's how it's
out of Kansas.
Yeah, 42-6. Weatherford and El Reno. That game was one of the COVID games tonight. Poor El Reno. I actually talked to their AD this week because here at my station, we're going to do one of their games later this month as our game of the week, Grant.
Mm-hmm.
They've had their last 2 games called because of COVID.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they just can't catch a break right now.
No, you're right about that.
Guthrie and Duncan. Guthrie winning 41-7. Putnam North over Piedmont 26-10. Glenpool knocks off Durant 27-17. Midwest City over Noble 14-12. Del City over Carl Albert 52-20. Pryor over Gravett 35-14. Edison Prep and Tulsa Memorial. Edison winning 35-0. And Star Spencer, they shut out Western Heights tonight 56-0.
All right, let's go back to the Rogers State University in-studio hotline. Fairview and Alva locking horns tonight. Fairview coming out with a big lead. Alva almost came back and won it tonight in a big rivalry game. Eric Ruwalt helped call the game on KRDR tonight. And I tell you, Eric, it looked like the Gold Bugs were going to pull it off.
Yeah, it really did. You summed it up perfectly. They got down 18-0 at halftime, and really even most of the third quarter, that score held. And then Drake Wharton, junior running back for the Gold Bugs, ran untouched for a 60-yard touchdown, and it just gave such life to this Gold Bug team, and they end up actually taking the lead. They had a lead 19-18. And they had the ball late in the fourth quarter, fumbled it at midfield. Fairview just goes right down and scores. And the Gold Bugs had a chance to come back and even get it.
with about a minute 6 left. They hit a couple of pass plays, big pass play to Drew Glass, get some first and goal down at the 1, and had 3 chances and 4 chances really, and just couldn't get it over. But really exciting game, and just kind of one of those games where you just felt bad that somebody had to lose.
Who's your Martinez Agency player of the game tonight?
Yeah, so what we do is we have an offensive and a defensive. Our offensive player of the game was Caden Slater, quarterback for the Gold Bugs, threw for 269 yards and 2 touchdowns. And then our defensive player of the game is a freshman named Lance Matters, 12 tackles, forced fumble, a couple of tackles for loss. His dad was an All-American at Northwestern, and so we're expecting him to be quite a player for us as his Gold Bug career unfolds. But he had a really game tonight also.
All right, next up for Alva, who you got?
Well, we got the bye week, so I'm going to be looking for something to do next Friday. But after the bye week, we get to go to Newkirk.
All right, well,
and that's always fun when you get to go to Newkirk.
Well, if you're bored, we got an extra microphone down here at the World
Come on down.
Headquarters, so just
all right,
come
man,
hang
that'd be
with us.
fun. Might have to do that.
We may need some spiritual counseling between segments. There you go. And of course, as we always mention, service times at First Baptist Church of Alva, Sunday morning. What time should we to church?
10:30. Looking forward to seeing you, Grant. I'll save you a seat.
All right, brother. Appreciate you. Thank you. All
Thanks,
right,
guys.
It is 11:09. Thank you for being with us on the Prep Sports Post Game tonight. As I'm Grant Merrill, along with Randy Heights, hour number 2, rolling on is coming up here in the next little bit. We will get to some of our hour 2 guests, but let's go on to 4A scores tonight. Sallisaws JV team fell to Tallahena 8-7. Cleveland over Manford tonight, 34-21. Southeast beats Class and SAS 39-34. As you heard from Brent Kellogg a moment ago, Oologah over Claremore 30-24. Bristow over Chandler tonight 36-26. Highway 20 rivalry in Tulsa County as Collinsville beat Skytook. Man, they were whipping up on the Bulldogs tonight 43-7. Grove, the Ridge Runners, they beat Jay 44-6. Hilldale beats Shakota. Final score there, 45-0. Broken Bow over Idabel, 33-14. Cass followed to Plainview, 42-28. Cushing over Perkins Tryon, 48-14. Elk City winning over Guyman, 62-8. Tuttle over Newcastle, 35-7. We'll get a report on that ball game from Josh Calloway later in the hour. Verdigris beating Miami tonight, 56-0. War Dogs' first loss of the season so far. Seminole over Tecumseh, 35-7. It was Bethany falling to Woodward. Boomers win that one, 17-12. Gentry over Stillwell, 42-7. Fort Gibson over Catoosa tonight, 52-21. Wagner over Tahlequah, 21-7. In a game heard live on 107.7 in Oklahoma City tonight, Heritage Hall beats Clinton 39-24. Blanchard beats Elgin 35-7. It was Ponca City over McLean 37-0. McAllister beating Ada 42-14. Hera beating Bridge Creek 35-0.
All right, let's go through 3A scores real fast. Medill knocks off Marietta 51-0. Inola over Salina 19-12.
All right, hang
Sorry,
on. We're up against the break. We'll take a quick break and we'll get back with more of those scores and more reports across the state. It's the Prep Sports Post Game, the Game Day Oklahoma Network.
When your health throws you a curveball, many times outpatient rehab is your best option. Aspen Health Rehab in Broken Arrow is changing the way that Oklahoma families are thinking about long-term care. With every amenity of home, first-class dining, and professionals that put your care first, Aspen Health and Rehab is ready to take on your personalized plan of care. Check them out today at aspenhealthrehab.com. Aspen Health and Rehab, where healthcare and luxury come together.
Did we choose Rogers State University?
I like the smaller classes. I like a professor who knows me by name.
I like living on campus.
I like receiving financial aid to help me with tuition. Discover RSU for yourself.
Our education, our goals, our future. It all starts here. Your future begins now at Rogers State University in Northeast Oklahoma. In-state tuition available. Learn more at rsu.edu.
When Oklahoma companies need a copier, they choose NES. NES has an exciting new partnership that is saving clients time and money. Owner Eddie Silkey is here to tell us more about the difference.
They have come up with a patented technology called Precision Core. It's a heat-free technology. It's affordable. It is easy to use. From a service perspective, very few parts that need to be replaced. It's a simple device.
Find out more by calling 918-665-5502 today.
Squirtle is Oklahoma's premium scoring app for high school sports statewide. Through Squirtle, not only can sports fans check their team's scores, rankings, district standings, and schedules, they can find state playoff brackets, chat live on the new chat forum, or use the new fan poll to pick individual game winners. Updates are rolling out regularly, keeping the app fresh and current. Know the score of games across Oklahoma. Download the Squirtle app now for free in the Apple or Android store. Always know the score with Squirtle.
Ken Boyer is everywhere. When a loved one has stumbled and ends up in jail, call Ken Boyer to make the bail. For immediate bonding day or night, look no further than Ken Boyer Bail Bonds. With over 35 years experience, let Ken and his professional staff help you. Open 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, accepting all major credit cards. Conveniently located just 3 blocks north of the jail at the corner of Northwest 6th and Chartel. The right bondsman can make a difference. Call Ken Boyer Bail Bonds.
Case & Associates is hiring. If you like to be outdoors with great benefits, Case & Associates is accepting applications right now. Positions needed are groundkeepers, painters, and maintenance assistants. Part-time and full-time positions are available with flexible schedules and competitive wages. Receive benefits like 401k, paid time off, health, vision, and dental. What are you waiting for? Visit Mission Point Apartments in Moore or Stonehorse Crossments on North Main, north of Memorial.
Hey, it's Sam Mays for the Law Tigers, lawyers who ride. Yep, we're riders just like you. And they're not just motorcycle attorneys. They're a part of the riding community. Josh and his team at the Law Tigers understand what injured riders are going through, and they'll fight for you every step of the way. They'll even help you get your motorcycle repaired or replaced. With the Law Tigers, you'll never ride alone. Besides representing our fellow injured, the Law Tigers support various aspects of the motorcycle industry as well. So, if you're ever injured in a motorcycle accident, call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS or visit lawtigers.com for a free case evaluation.
Kendall Dwyer, 400 North Walker Avenue, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma 731.
Right now at Diamonds Direct, whether you buy a $3,000 diamond pendant or a $30,000 designer ring, you can spread your payments over 5 years without paying a dime in interest. It's Diamonds Direct's most aggressive offer ever. Pick any item, get the super low price Diamonds Direct is known for, and spread your payments over 5 years with 0 interest and 0 down. No exceptions. Don't miss this incredible limited time offer. 5 years, 0 interest on approved credit only at Diamonds Direct on North Penn across from the mall.
It is 11:16 at night in the great state of Oklahoma. I'm Grant Merrill. Thank you for being with us on the Prep Sports Postgame. Randy Heights in with us. Eric King punching all the buttons, making it sound good this evening. We'd love to hear from you on Twitter. I'm at Grant Merrill. That's Grant, Merrill. He is RJ Heights 1077. On the Rogers State University in-studio hotline, we go to Cashin. Nima Nabave is joining us this evening here as he's got a report on Cashin football. How'd they do tonight?
They did all right. It was a rough start to the season, but the Cats have bounced back. They're 2-1 and had a big win over a very proud and great, traditional power in Minko. The big win tonight, winning 48-6.
Hey, Nima, and in fact, this game had a lot of emotion for Cash in your retirement jersey and celebration of a state title from 40 years ago. Hard to believe 81 was 40 years ago, guys.
I turn 40 next week, so yeah, me too.
Yeah, totally. Cash and Friday Night Lights are terrific. Every Friday night, we got fantastic fans and, folks that packed the place and pregame. But tonight was a great night. Jeremy Seaton, former Cashin alum, do it all. Just a great human being altogether. And of course, former Oklahoma State Cowboy was his number 5 was retired tonight. And so it was a big surprise for him. And Coach Shackelford met him at midfield before the game. And yeah, and at halftime it was fantastic. We had a 40-year anniversary of the 81 State title team. They rolled out, wore their jerseys. We had Chris Cochran on our halftime show to kind of talk about some old stories. It was a great night.
Who was your Martinez Agency player of the game tonight for Cashin?
Well, when you put up a ton of points, and again, this one was pretty much over at halftime, it's really hard. But, we're going to have to go with Ben Harmon, quarterback, 3-year starter. He's just been fantastic, following in his footsteps of his brother, Matt Harmon. Tonight, Ben was 21 for 389, 6 touchdowns. Again, 64% completion. He's almost throwing for almost 1,100 yards and 14 touchdowns this year. He's just been fantastic. So he's going to be our player of the game.
All right, Neiman, next up for your Cashin Wildcats.
We're on the road. We head out west, Red Dirt Country in northwest Oklahoma. We'll be heading out to Thomas, the Terriers, another, traditional power. They've got beautiful facility. We'll be heading out there next week and trying to put, to continue these high offensive numbers and great defense against a very tough and difficult Thomas team traditionally.
All right, we'll expect a full report against the Terriers next week. Thanks for being with us.
Yeah, hey, thanks for all that you guys do for OK Preps Football. This is a fantastic forum, and a big shout out to Adam and the group at Squirtle.tv and Squirtle.com. This is so much fun, and we really appreciate you guys doing what you're doing.
Hey, Neiman, thank you.
Thanks, Neiman. We'll talk to you later.
All right, Neiman Nabavi, he is the voice of Cashin tonight. Okay, coming up, we'll talk to Bryson Colwell. He's going to join us from Southern Oklahoma. Tony Wilson, Chris Fossey, Big Ben Welch. If you guys are listening, y'all are on deck, and we will get to you here in just a few minutes. We've had an action-packed night.
I was going to say, it just keeps going, Grant. I mean, this night has flown by. We got a lot of games, which, to be honest, is a good thing, because if you noticed a trend, not Nema, but a lot of the first guests we had on, we talked about who they got next week. They all had the same opponent. It's bye.
Yeah,
it's bye. I'm like, are we going to have any games in Oklahoma High School next week?
Have you noticed how many of them said, and it couldn't come at a better time?
Exactly.
So, anyway, we've got a lot of great games tonight. And, of course, next week will be a little bit of a rest for a lot of these teams. So we hope that you will be joining us. Okay, we will get to Bryson here in the next few minutes. We'll just go on down the list, Eric, and we'll try to get back to him here in just a moment. I may have actually typed that one.
Hey, it happens. I've done that. Trust me. You get dyslexic with numbers every now and then, and turn them around.
Absolutely. So we'll come to you here in just a few minutes, and once I type your correct phone number into our system here, and live radio at its best, ladies and gentlemen.
It's how you have
hearing
to do
it now.
but that happens. It's part of doing a show, and I know Eric's over there working hard, but a lot of good games tonight. And I think when you look at Oklahoma high school football, the talent level just continues to go up week in and week out. Or not week in and week out, year in and year out, and it gets deeper and deeper. And that's the one thing I like about it, and the one thing I like to see here. Let's go real fast back to the phone lines.
Yeah.
Real fast, a report from Chandler and our friend Tony Wilson. Tony, how are you doing, man?
Man, Randy, I didn't even know you knew my name.
Hey, I know. A lot of people don't realize that this is a gentleman we often refer to as Lugnut as well.
Hey,
Does
Lugnut.
a lot of high school football.
Hello, guys.
Tell us a
How
little
we
bit
doing
about
tonight?
Chandler's game tonight, man.
Well, the Lions took it on the chin, 36-26, and it was marred by controversy towards the end. But let me tell you, these Bristow kids, they were resilient. And Chandler jumps out with a 7-0 lead on a Caden Jones pass to Jaron Greenfield from 11 yards out to go for the Lions to be up 7-0. Then Caden Jones again, 23-yard touchdown run with 1:12 left in the first quarter, 14-0. It looked like the Lions are going to be out of the gate, after beating the rival Stroud Tigers last week, 53-0. But a 70-yard run by Cord Dobrinsky for Bristow cut it to 14-7, and that was the halftime score. And that's when all the fun started, guys, because it was just a touchdown central back and forth. Bristow scores coming out on the 15-yard run by Cash Henson and ties it at 14. And it's kind of one of those deals that, not really being challenged last week. You wanted to see how the Lions would respond. And they did again with a Caden Jones 16-yard touchdown run to take a 20-14 lead as they missed the extra point. And in true fashion form, right back comes Dobrinsky with the 29-yard touchdown run of his own, a 9-yard touchdown run, and Bristow retakes the lead. Chandler again, Caden Jones on a 47-yard keep, puts the Lions ahead 26-21. Okay, so now the Bristow scores and makes it 29-26. Well, we get the ball back with about 4 minutes left, and just under 4 minutes, I'd say, and facing a 4-3 from about our own 35. Jones runs a delayed quarterback draw, and looks like he's down plenty of time. I mean, there's probably a good 2 seconds that he's down. They slap the ball out of his hand, pick it up, and they run it all the way back for a touchdown. That was by Hayden Goodwin, number 13 for Bristow. And, the Chandler staff, of course, was just beside themselves going, the officials. And let me just be quite frank with you guys. There's zero blame on the officials. Bristow took it to them. We couldn't tackle them. We couldn't stop them. And they just ran it down our throat tonight in just a two-wing set and just, a lot of traps and leads. But that play, really made it the difference in the score, 10-0 at a 29-26 game. It was a good football game back and forth, and Caden Jones, for the Lions, what do you say about the senior quarterback? He was 13-21, 96 yards, a touchdown, and a pick late, and had 179 yards rushing and 3 TDs.
Hey, Tony.
And I'm going to tell you right now, there is a game next week, boys, and it's going to be the highlighted 2A as the Lions go to Beggs.
Oh, wow. I might stop on the way into Oklahoma City and watch that one. That sounds like a
Come on by.
good one.
Come on by.
Right.
We'll be there.
Tony, appreciate you being with
Thanks,
us tonight.
guys. Have a good night.
Tony.
That is a man known far and wide as Lugnut, but he's also known as Tony Wilson. So,
That's right.
Anyway, he'll answer to either.
He's called into my show for years when I was doing the scoreboard show just here in Oklahoma City. Lugnut's a really good guy, and just like all these guys, you know what?
Oh, yeah.
All these guys we have on, one thing they have in common is a passion for Oklahoma high school sports. Football, basketball, it doesn't matter. They all have a passion for it, and that's what you love to see.
Yep, that's why we do it. That's for sure. It's 11:24. You're listening to the Prep Sports Post Game. It's all presented by Aspen Health and Rehab. If you're looking for long-term care in Oklahoma, Aspen Health and Rehab is Oklahoma's premier facility. Be sure and visit them and find out more today. All right, let's go to Southern Oklahoma. Bryson Colwell. Did you drive to McAllister, or was McAllister at Ardmore tonight, Bryson?
Actually, it was Shawnee at Ardmore.
Shawnee. Okay, so forgive me for the Ardmore
past your bedtime, isn't it?
Because McAllister actually played Ada tonight, so I'm really sorry about that. Shawnee and Ardmore, and you guys were on the road tonight, right?
No, actually, we were at Noble Stadium here in Ardmore, beautiful Ardmore, America. It was a beautiful night, the home opener, and they had some Hall of Fame things going on. It was cool.
That's awesome. And you're right, it is past my bedtime, so thanks for bearing with me. But Bryson, tell us a little bit about how it went and who your Martinez Agency player of the game tonight, who that was.
Well, I'll throw it to Cody for the player of the game, but the Ardmore Tigers, well, they won the game. It was, 42 to the final score. I just call the game. I don't pay attention to the score. But anyways, they lacked discipline at points. I think they had 3 false starts in a row going into the game. Talked to Coach Newby. I think 6 total. They had 3 being the same right tackle. And talking to Coach Newby going into the game, he said they lacked discipline, and they were trying to work on that. They looked worse this week, but second half they came out, and they were able to put it to Shawnee. I think Shawnee just got tired.
Yeah. All right. Next up for Ardmore, who do you guys have?
They're going to travel to Ponca City next week.
There's a drive for you, Bryson.
It should be okay. We were looking at it earlier, about 3 hours. It's all I-35 the whole way. So I think we're going to stop off in Oklahoma City and find a Torchy's Tacos on the way up there or something like that.
Do that. Well, there's Torchy's nearby, but there's also the Rusty Barrel Saloon up in Ponca City that's like one of the best steaks you'll ever eat. So you can probably check that one out too, if you can find it.
That's good to know, Grant.
Hey, I'm all about some Oklahoma food places, let me tell you.
There you go. Well, Cody, the guy that's about to give you the player of the game, his wife said, yep. So I think that's where we'll be going. I'll throw it to him real quick so he can give you the player of the game.
All right.
Hey, guys.
Hey, Cody.
Well, player of the game tonight, probably the most underrated quarterback in 5A this year in Oklahoma, a guy named Cal Swanson. Cal had 13 completions tonight for 177 yards and 3 touchdowns, and also had 1 touchdown on the ground, his only rush tonight for 22 yards. So 4 total touchdowns tonight. He was pretty much responsible for all the points besides 1
but then that was Anton Scallion. But really great night for him. He showed some leadership and big reason why they came out of there with the win.
All right. Well, Bryson and Cody, good job tonight. Thank you for being with us. And we will talk to you after your long road trip to Ponca City next week.
All right. We'll see you later, player.
All right. Bryson Colwell joining us tonight. Not only the play-by-play man for Ardmore, but the king of red dirt country as well. It's 11:28. We've got a lot of folks to get to after the break coming up here in the next few minutes. I know. Oh, let's see here. We've got Chris Fossey joining us from Westmore. We'll talk about Tonkawa and Perry with Big Ben Welch. We've got Nelson talking about Cherokee and Pioneer, and Josh Calloway from Newcastle. Chris Evans, if you're still on the road coming home from Duncan tonight, which I assume you're still listening to us on the way back to Guthrie, we'll try to pop into you as well coming up.
Heck, if he's on the way back to Guthrie, he can just stop by the studio.
We'll just knock on the door. We'll be here. So anyway, coming up in the next segment, we'll talk to all of those folks. But again, we want to thank all of our fine sponsors who have made this possible for us tonight. Of course, Aspen Health and Rehab, who I mentioned a moment ago. The Oklahoma Turnpike Authority and Pike Pass, they're a big sponsor tonight. NES, where Oklahoma goes for copiers. Rogers State University. We've got a whole ton of people who are joining us here this evening. Don't forget tomorrow, I promised that I would promote this. We've got the Soul Bowl. And that is going to be on Squirtle TV tomorrow. And, of course, I'll have the call of that one coming up tomorrow afternoon. And so that's a 1 o'clock kickoff?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay.
Should be fun right here in Oklahoma City.
I can't wait for that one. And, you know, a lot of people say high school football on Saturday afternoon up against the Sooners, up against everything else. We're going to get it done.
Hey, it's got a lot of history behind that game. And a game that doesn't have a lot of history was Westmore and Southmore, and I know Chris is on the line. You want to go to that now?
We'll go to him right after the break. We've got to take our quick break.
Make sure.
Yes, absolutely. We'll be back right after this. As it's the Prep Sports Post Game presented by Aspen Health and Rehab on the Game Day Oklahoma Network. Again, we will be back with more of our guests straight ahead. Eric Fossey coming up next on the Prep Sports Post Game.
Dr. Matt Dieselhorst at Dieselhorst Sports and Orthopedics can help you get game day ready. Dr. Dieselhorst works with athletes of all ages, taking a coordinated approach to accelerate return to play and maximize athletic performance. His work with pros in sports training, injury prevention, bracing, functional rehabilitation, and imaging works seamlessly with his medical and surgical expertise. Get started by going to Dieselhorst Sports and Orthopedics. Let Dr. Matt Dieselhorst get you back on the field. All Oklahoma athletes on the field and off.
Let's face it, high school and college sports have changed. And if you plan on taking your talents to the next level, marketing is the name of the game. That is where the Martinez Agency comes in. The Martinez Agency is one of the fastest growing sports marketing firms in the region and can help you set up marketing avenues for your athletes. From player websites to navigating the ever-changing rules of name, imaging, and likeness to generating sponsorship dollars, the Martinez Agency does it all. Athletes, it is time to share your brand story. Log on to martinez-agency.com and find out how today.
If you're a coach or athletic director, this message is for you. Legacy Entertainment has provided light and sound for Oklahoma's hottest concerts for years, but now they're helping schools just like yours elevate their game day atmosphere. From providing lighted sound systems to coordinating your team's run-through with fog machines and the hottest elements out there, they'll make sure Friday nights are never the same again. They've helped schools like OU, and they'll help you too. Check them out at legacyllc.net. Legacy Entertainment, where every day is game.
The Oklahoma Turnpike Authority continues infrastructure modernization. There's never been a better time to have a Pike Pass. Pike Pass account holders enjoy the best toll rates available and interoperability with Kansas and Texas. Open a Pike Pass account today at pikepass.com. Create your own Oklahoma adventure on Amtrak's Heartland Flyer. Enjoy free Wi-Fi, plug-in power, big windows, comfy seats, and 5 stops in Oklahoma. Experience a better way to travel. Book today at amtrak.com/Heartland Flyer.
So here at B-Dubs, we got this thing called Wing Tuesdays, where we do buy one, get one free wings every week. Because we're pretty famous for our wings. And to be honest, Tuesdays could use a little something to spice them up. So now you can grab the crew and get to the bar for free wings so good, they'll make Tuesday your new favorite day of the week. To the greatest of all times, Buffalo Wild Wings. BOGO traditional wings of equal value at participating locations on Tuesdays. Not valid with other offers. Size exclusions apply. While supplies last. Limit 1. Fees may apply.
Every morning, every
Oklahoma is back to fun in 21, September 16th to 26th, with $2 admission opening day, free admission for service members on Military Monday, Pepsi $2 Tuesday, and seniors free on Wednesday. Visit OKStateFair.com today, and let's get back to fun in 21. Back to fun in 21. Hey, we got fun. Pepsi is the official soft drink of the OKC Fairgrounds. Let's get back to fun.
Gotta move it? Oklahoma Trailers Direct. Gotta haul it? Oklahoma Trailers Direct. Gotta tow it? Oklahoma Trailers Direct. People come from all over to buy from Oklahoma Trailers Direct for their value, price, quality, and selection. They offer financing and rent-to-own options that require no credit check. Yep, approved. Come on down to Oklahoma Trailers Direct, 2890 Melville Lane in Norman. Online at oktrailersdirect.com or give them a jingle at 405-701-9927. Open Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 5 and Saturday, 9 to 1. Oklahoma Trailers Direct.
It is a Prep Sports post game on the Game Day Oklahoma Network. Grant Merrill and Randy Heights along with you as Eric King is punching all the buttons and making us sound good tonight. He was not able to make us sound good enough that I didn't butcher Chris Fosse's name going into the break this last. I called him Eric Fosse. I don't know why I did that. I swear I haven't been getting into the tailgate spirits down the hall just yet.
Right. But, my refrigerator, my wife's asleep in the office, so it'd be hard to get to him.
I was about to say the night is young, though.
Exactly.
Anyway, Eric, thank you for being with us.
You just did it again.
God,
what in the world? Come on, Grant. I'm just kidding.
Okay. Chris Fosse.
Anytime you want.
Chris, how are you, brother?
I'm doing good. You can call me Eric. Growing up, there was about 9 million Chris's in my class, so I've always just gone by Fosse anyway.
Okay.
So it's not a big deal.
All right, Fosse, how'd you guys do tonight?
Oh, the Westmore Jack only bounced back. They started off 0-2 for the first time since 1997. They played a week 0 game, so of course they're going to get to play bye next week as well. Hopefully that'll be a win for them. But they bounced back. They beat crosstown rival 35-14, the Sophomore SaberCats. And Sophomore came out to stop the run, and they did actually a pretty good job of doing that. They were going to make new quarterback Shaheem Johnson beat him with his arm, and he finished 9 for 16 for 130 yards and 2 touchdowns, and threw a couple questionable balls. And, he's grown up in front of us. He's only a 15-year-old sophomore quarterback, and that's tough in 6A, and he's growing up in front of us. So it's fun getting to watch him grow. But big jump from last week for him.
Hey, Chris, one question on Westmore. You look at how they've struggled this year. You got an experienced coach there in Lorenzo Williams that's had a lot of success before he got to Westmore and has had some success at Westmore. How are they handling that this year with such a young team?
They tried to simplify the offense compared to what, the no-huddle air raid spread that they've ran since 2009. So the big joke is that, there's this thing happening on the field called a huddle. I don't know. And for what's funny is older Jaguars that are tuning in, they're used to the Mike Whaley offenses, which were, fullback, toss to the tailback, huddle every play. And so they were like, wait, I don't get the joke. And I have to remind them since 2009, they've been running no huddle spread. So they've done a lot of under center. I mean, they've completely revamped the offense. Lots of sophomores starting everywhere on this offense. Half the offensive line is sophomores. So they've kind of, tried to simplify things as much as possible for these kids. And breaking in that new sophomore quarterback it's been a learning curve, and you see sparks, and you're like, oh, there it is. And then, then all of a sudden you're like, oh, yeah, wait, back to 15 years old again.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Well, Chris, you had the bye week next week. Of course, you mentioned your Martinez Agency player of the game. Anything we've missed tonight?
No, we go on bye week, and then we got to play this new up-and-coming suburb out in Tulsa called Broken Arrow. I think I pronounced that correctly. I think so. So that'll be fun. They play Thursday night, the 23rd.
Yes.
And looking forward to it.
Well,
and actually, one of the guys, speaking of player of the game, we actually gave player of the game on the radio to one of our linebackers, Kaizen Bird, who had 14. We credited him with 14 tackles and 2 sacks. Just absolutely unreal. Westmore also had a pick 6 tonight, and he didn't even have the pick 6, and we still gave him the player of the game award. So
There was the defense, I think, took last week personally, and they came out on fire this week.
All right.
So,
well, Chris, thank you for being with us. We'll talk to you in 2 weeks.
hey, thanks for having me.
All right, Chris. We'll talk to you down the road.
Chris Fossey, he had the call of the Westmore game over on the Franchise 2 tonight, I believe. Is that where it was?
Franchise 2. Yeah, and what's funny is, we've talked about Westmore, and I mentioned Lorenzo Williams. A lot of people don't realize in this part of the state, Grant, we got some high school head coaches with some NFL background.
Yeah.
Lorenzo Williams.
Oh, yeah.
Played with the Ravens. Josh Norman, Southmore. That was an NFL matchup tonight. Josh Norman, head coach. He was a San Diego Charger for several years after winning a national title with Oklahoma. So you got a lot of guys with Oklahoma roots. I mean, Lorenzo from Midwest City, so he's come back to Oklahoma. Josh played college ball in Oklahoma.
We've had a lot of these guys that have gone to work for these high schools. I mean, even like little schools like Rejoice Christian. I know they've got some guys with NFL experience that have come on board. Owasso's got a handful of them. It's just really neat to see some of these guys come back and give back to these programs.
Putnam City Original here in Oklahoma City.
Yes.
Carter Whitson, a former walk-on at Oklahoma, he's the head coach, but his defensive coordinator, Rufus Alexander.
Oh, man.
A good friend of mine, and it's like holy crap, you look around the state and the talent that is growing, and you see why with the type of coaching they're getting.
All right, let's go up north. Our buddy Big Ben Welch had the call of Tonkawa and Perry, a really close one tonight. He called that one on 104.7 The Bull, and Big Ben didn't go your way tonight. I'm sorry to hear that, but it sounded like it was a heck of a ball game.
Yeah, it really was. In my opinion, the better team wasn't victorious tonight, but turnovers, 2 turnovers apiece on both sides. Defense really played pretty well on both sides. So just one of those games that each mistake was crucial, and Tonkawa made more than Perry tonight.
Well, give us a little rundown on who your Martinez Agency player of the game was, and who really stood out for Tonkawa.
I thought Ryan Morgan, the sophomore quarterback, did a pretty good job throwing the football tonight. He threw an early touchdown. The Bucks really, their lone touchdown of the game, came through the air. So my Buccaneer player of the game will have to go to him. And there on the Perry side of the football, that quarterback number 9, his name has slipped my mind right at the moment. Caden Hall, I believe is his name. He's a tremendous ball player. So he probably gets the nod for Perry.
All right, next up for Tonkawa, who you got?
They travel north to take on the Blackwell Maroons next week.
Maroons all around. I mean, 2 weeks in a row you've got them. So anyway.
Yeah, so
all right.
They will be definitely tired of seeing Maroon. So
I am sure. Well, Big Ben, great call tonight. Appreciate you being with us this evening.
Hey, thanks for the time. I appreciate it. We'll see you guys next week.
All right, Big Ben Welch. He's the voice of Tonkawa on 104.7 The Bull out of Ponca City this evening. It's 11:41. We've got plenty of guests coming up as we take you up to midnight with scores from across the state. Randy Heights.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun night, but let's go. You want to go over a few more scores while we're waiting for our next guest? What do you think?
Can do that real
quick. I mean, because I know we've gone through them a little, but I've got some 3A scores to pass along to you while we wait for Eric to get our guest. A few more here. Foreman and Westville. Westville winning 28-16. Manford and Cleveland. Cleveland knocks them off 34-21. Plainview over Cache 42-28. Sulphur knocks off Davis 27-14. Cushing over Perkins Tryon 48-14. You got Heritage Hall over Clinton 39-24. And Berry Hill knocks off Cache Hill 35-7, or Cache Hall 35-7. And that's that. And I think we're ready for guest here.
All right, let's go up north. Tom Nelson had the call of Cherokee and Pioneer tonight. Tom, it was kind of lopsided there on School TV, 46-0 the final.
Yeah, my game was over by 8:30, so I've had the longest wait tonight. But yeah, 46-0 the final. And this Pioneer Mustang team, pretty darn good. They host Laverne in a couple weeks. That's going to be a heck of a ball game to keep an eye on. A measuring stick game for Pioneer. They got lots of size. They're pretty quick. They've got lots of experience. And they took on a Cherokee team tonight that was down a couple of big players, including their preseason All-Stater Lake Lyon, who sprained his ACL last week, and he's hopefully out for just a couple of weeks. But they were missing some horses tonight, and Pioneer jumped all over them early and often and ended the game on a kickoff return for a touchdown in the opening kickoff of the second half. So we had to sit through halftime and then go home as soon as the opening kickoff was over to start the third quarter.
Oh, wow. Your Martinez agency player of the game tonight. Who's that going to be?
I'm going to give it to Caden Humphreys, kind of all-everything player for Pioneer running back. He had 5 carries for 125 yards and 3 touchdowns on the ground. He returned the kickoff in the game. In his first 2 games this season, he's carried the ball 10 times and scored 6 touchdowns, picked off 4 passes last week, returned 1 for a pick 6. Ran a kickback this week, so this kid's had a pretty good first couple of weeks, so he's going to be my player of the game tonight, and I'm looking forward to see what he can do on down the road.
All right. Well, Tom, we will talk to you next week wherever you may be. I know we don't know.
Wherever,
yeah.
Exactly. We make that call over the weekend. So
points unknown.
Yeah, that's right. Great to listen to you guys tonight, and looking forward to spending all my Friday nights with you guys to date, I guess. Right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Brother, thank you. Appreciate you.
You betcha.
All right, that's Tom Nelson from Squirtle TV tonight, 11:44. Coming up, we'll get Josh Calloway on with us and talk about those new Casers. We'll talk about Guthrie. We'll try to get Chris Evans on here to round out the show. And I think Adam Dieselhorst from Squirtle is going to come on with us, and we'll preview that Soul Bowl broadcast.
He's going to bring the HTO by?
I hope so.
I mean, might as well, right?
Well, I mean, yeah, he can just pay me an H2O for doing this game.
I mean,
HTO.
Just for the fact that I went by it was a special 1-week deal. Had to go.
Let me tell you, they've opened up in Tulsa, and the most dangerous place in Oklahoma is between my wife and HTO. That's it's a good thing. So anyway, all right, let's go down to Newcastle. Josh Calloway joining us tonight. He had the call on the Oklahoma Sports Network of Newcastle and Tuttle. Josh, how are you tonight?
Doing pretty good. How about you guys?
Good, man.
Well, I know that it probably wasn't the way that the Racers wanted to see it end up, but you guys,
right.
It's always an interesting game when those two get together.
Absolutely. And, coming in, we really didn't know what to expect, honestly. I mean, Newcastle's a really young team, replacing a lot from last year. We saw them 2 weeks ago absolutely blow the doors off of Cleveland, and that was not totally expected. We talked about that at the time. And then they didn't play last week. So they've just had one game under their belt. They sat around for 2 weeks waiting for this game, which is obviously a huge rivalry in the area. You guys know that. Newcastle and Tuttle. It was a massive crowd at this game. I mean, literally, standing room only is totally accurate. There's everybody completely circling around the field, not an empty seat type of a game. And that's the first road game for all these young players for Newcastle. So we're coming in thinking this is going to be tough. I mean, really young team at Tuttle. First road game of the year. And it wasn't bad. I mean, it was a close game. It was 7-7 to the middle of the second quarter. The key sequence was easily. Tuttle scored to go up 13-7 with about 2 minutes to play until halftime. And we were talking on the broadcast, does Newcastle push their luck here, or do they be happy to only be down 6 going into half, knowing they get the ball to start the second half? They decided to push their luck, fired it deep, interception, big interception return, and then Tuttle ended up getting another touchdown before half, made it 21-7. It felt like the game totally turned right there to being all Tigers. And the Tuttle defense, I mean, that's a legit defense. They have 3 guys up front that are all 6'4" and like 250 or higher. It's Newcastle had nowhere to run, no time to throw. I mean, in my time, doing Newcastle football, Jeff Brickman, he can dial it up. Really good offensive team. They were shut down tonight, just 7 points, and that came on the short field after a good punt return. So give the Tigers a lot of credit. They're Tuttle. They're a contender for a reason. And Newcastle, I think this was a good kind of feel it out and see just where you're at and where you need to improve type of game. Because like I said, they only played one game before this. So this was a good test, kind of get that first loss out of the way against a really good opponent and try to bounce back and figure out what you need to work on moving forward.
All right, we got about a minute and a half before our break, but future Newcastle Racer Hall of Fame member Eric King had a quick question on the broadcast tonight. Eric?
Yeah, all right, go for it.
Yeah, Josh. So as a Newcastle alumni, I know Tuttle Newcastle better than anybody in terms of how big of a rivalry that is. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Outside of 1 year in high school, we got killed all the time. The big talent disparity. I know this is your 3rd or 4th Newcastle Tuttle game that you've done. Just have you been able to notice, does that talent gap seem to have closed in terms of the players on the field, or is it kind of more the same that Tuttle just seems to dominate everything?
Well, they played twice last year, and they were competitive games. Tuttle did win them both, including eliminating Newcastle in the playoffs last year, but they both could have gone either way. When they played the first time last year at Racer Stadium, it came down to a last-second field goal that Newcastle got blocked that would have sent the game to OT. Now, this year is a little bit of a gap because Newcastle, like I said, is really young, but it's not a big disparity. This game was competitive for a while. I think a few things go their way. This game could have been a lot closer, which might sound silly considering it was 35-7. But you just have to take my word for it. It's not a gigantic gap. Tuttle's better, but it's not some insurmountable chasm, at least in my opinion, in the 3 times I've seen this game now.
All right, Josh, appreciate you being with us tonight.
Appreciate it, guys.
Okay,
Thanks, Josh.
We'll be back with more after this on the Prep Sports Post Game.
When your health throws you a curveball, many times outpatient rehab is your best option. Aspen Health and Rehab in Broken Arrow is changing the way that Oklahoma families are thinking about long-term care. With every amenity of home, first-class dining, and professionals that put your care first, Aspen Health and Rehab is ready to take on your personalized plan of care. Check them out today at aspenhealthrehab.com. Aspen Health and Rehab, where healthcare and luxury come together.
Squirtle is Oklahoma's premium scoring app for high school sports statewide. Through Squirtle, not only can sports fans check their team's scores, rankings, district standings, and schedules, they can find state playoff brackets, chat live with a new chat forum, or use the new fan poll to pick individual game winners. Updates are rolling out regularly, keeping the app fresh and current. Know the score of games across Oklahoma. Download the Squirtle app now for free in the Apple or Android store. Always know the score with Squirtle.
Why did we choose Rogers State University?
I like the smaller classes.
I like a professor who knows me by name.
I like living on campus.
I like receiving financial aid to help me with tuition.
Discover RSU for yourself.
Our education, our goals, our future. It all starts here. Your future begins now at Rogers State University in Northeast Oklahoma. In-state tuition available. Learn more at rsu.edu.
As the Oklahoma Turnpike Authority continues infrastructure modernization, there's never been a better time to have a Pike Pass. Pike Pass account holders enjoy the best toll rates available and interoperability. Kansas and Texas. Open a Pike Pass account today at pikepass.com. Create your own Oklahoma adventure on Amtrak's Heartland Flyer. Enjoy free Wi-Fi, plug-in power, big windows, comfy seats, and 5 stops in Oklahoma. Experience a better way to travel. Book today at amtrak.com/Heartland Flyer.
In America, the future belongs to everyone. So we built the Ford F-Series for everyone. Because best-selling trucks for 44 years straight. Because the trucks of the future are built for America. Ford F-Series. Drive one today. Based on 1977 to 2020 calendar year total sales. Visit your Oklahoma Ford dealer to take advantage of great offers available now on Ford F-150, Ranger, and Super Duty. Choose from low financing and big cash rebates. See your best in Oklahoma Ford dealer today.
We're planning a trip to Spain later this year.
But our Spanish is...
It's pretty bad.
When you learn a language, you want to actually use it. Babbel is designed with that goal in mind. Babbel's conversation-based method teaches you real-life words and phrases. And with Babbel's interactive, bite-sized lessons, you'll remember what you learned.
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿De dónde eres?
¿De dónde eres?
No matter your learning style or experience level, Babbel has lessons designed for you that will get you speaking quickly and confidently.
I tried learning Spanish before, but I couldn't stick with it until I found Babbel.
There's no easier way to learn another language.
Ahora hablamos.
He just said now he speaks Spanish.
I can't wait to use our new language skills on our upcoming adventures.
Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. Just go to Babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Your life, your hopes, your passions. These things are none of our business. Your baby monitor research. If you're using too much diaper cream, and whatever you were searching for at 1:15 a.m., that's really none of our business. Because your life is private. And unlike other tech companies, we think your internet should be too. Aw, how old are they? That's none of our business either. Protect your privacy online for free with DuckDuckGo. DuckDuckGo. Privacy simplified.
Man, here it King's got the music going tonight. Little Smashing Pumpkins.
I know we've got a good mix in our system of some. Of course, we have some good stations. So
absolutely, it's 7:53, 7 minutes away from midnight. Chris Evans told me that when the Guthrie Blue Jays play on the road, that it might be okay to call as late as possible. So we waited until like the last minute to call you, Chris, since you're probably somewhere around Rush Springs right now. But how are you? It looks like you guys had a big win tonight, 41-7 over the Duncan Demons.
Hey, good gentlemen. Thanks for having me once again. Yeah, 41-7 final in Duncan tonight. Blue Jays actually trailed 7-0, 10 minutes to go in the second quarter, and scored 27 points before the half in the next 8 minutes. And then went on the 41 unanswered points to take down the Demons 41-7. Guthrie, 3-0, second year in a row to go undefeated in the non-district portion of the schedule.
I was about to say that tonight's the first time you guys have been scored on this year, isn't it?
Yeah, first 7 points this week. Shout-outs against Shawnee Pump City West. And looked good tonight. Hayden Calvert, the sophomore quarterback, 4 passing scores tonight. Isaiah Hammonds with 2 rushing scores. He has 8 on the season. So Blue Jays 3-0 heading to next week, 5 weeks. And then getting ready for district play in 2 weeks against the Piedmont Wildcats.
All right. Who's your Martinez Agency player of the game tonight?
Hayden Calvert, the sophomore quarterback, 4 passing scores of the night, had some great passes as well. So Hayden Calvert, sophomore quarterback, 4 of many to come this year, and he looks to have a great, promising career at Guthrie High School.
And I'm going to guess that for a full recap of this, we can go to GuthrieNewsPage.com, correct?
It'll all be there. I need a good night of sleep, and then it'll be there tomorrow.
I hear you. There's a certain news page in Owasso that has about the same thing going for it. So I get it completely. So,
absolutely.
All right, Chris, thank you for being with us.
All right, have a great night.
All right, Chris Evans, he's the voice of the Guthrie Blue Jays on Hot 93.7. Appreciate him being with us tonight.
And you know, it's nice to see Guthrie turning around. They were a powerhouse right there for many years, Grant, with Earl Albert in 5A. They back and forth between those two programs, especially here on the west side of the state. Had a couple of laws over the last few years, and over the last, I'd say, 2 to 3 years, Guthrie has slowly been able to start turning that page and moving in the right direction to getting back to being maybe a contending type team. Guthrie is one of those communities that's growing here in the metro area here in Oklahoma City, and it's kind of nice to see them start to return to that level.
Yeah, it's good to see them doing well, and we'll definitely enjoy following them throughout the season. All right, final call of the night. We go to the man in charge of all of the operations of the great Squirtle TV, not necessarily to get a report on the Putnam City North at Piedmont game that he saw tonight, because Todd Miller told us all about it. But Adam Dieselhorst, let's talk about this last-minute thing during the game where your agent reached out to mine and decided that I was going to call the Soul Bowl tomorrow between Millwood and Douglas.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, my agent. Yeah, you're exactly right. Yeah. So Millwood, just to kind of explain the scenario, Millwood is joined our network here recently, and Shannon Hayes had reached out to me, and they obviously that's a big game. They're in Oklahoma City, and really wanted us to come out and be able to live stream that, even though they have our network, and so. Scrambled around there in the press box at Piedmont trying to figure out some of my options. And, of course, Todd said, hey, why not ask Grant about it? And I went ahead and shot you a text and bugged you before you guys went on air. And, man, I appreciate it. I really do. We're looking forward to it.
Yeah, Miller's over there like, let me think of all of my friends that have absolutely no life. Grant Merrill comes to the top of the list. So, well, I'm happy to do it. I'm going to stay over tonight, and we're going to do that tomorrow, and we're looking forward to it. But we wanted the chance to promote the fact that will be on the Squirtle app tomorrow. It's a very unique game. I've got a color commentator that's going to join me, Daniel Bell. Daniel Bell is going to be with us. He's also covering the game for one of the publications here in town. So we're going to have a heck of a broadcast tomorrow. And I got to tell you, Adam, looking at what you guys are continuing to do each and every week, I just wanted to brag a little while we have you on the phone on Squirtle Pay Dirt and just all of the different high-quality broadcasts that you have, because it has turned out to be a wonderful year to do what we're doing with the Squirtle TV and the network that you've got going.
Well, I've said it before, and I tell people this all the time. You're only as good as the people you surround yourself with, and if you have true passion about something, usually it ends in a good result. And I think just like what you guys are doing, I mean, how great was that story with Coach Blankenship earlier on? I was driving back from the game. I mean, you could almost just do a whole radio show and have him on if you wanted to. But I appreciate it. I really do. You know, we feel like we're doing it for the right reasons and trying to promote high school sports and high school communities. And hey, man, I get another great talent to join me tomorrow with you. I'll be there in the box doing a little producing with you and maybe a little camera work. I don't know. I do a little bit of everything. And I got to head to the OU game. So I got a full day tomorrow.
You're throwing the word talent around a little loosely, but I'll try to live up to it this evening. Yeah, you're right. I mean, it's just so cool to do what we do. And, you know, I told Randy earlier when Bill came on earlier in the hour, you know, that's just one of those things where I couldn't talk football first without just acknowledging what his family had gone through this week and just the really cool things that God had put before them and, you know, what they were able to accomplish in such a busy week, you know, adopting 3 kids into the family. And then, you know, Josh comes home and coaches against his dad. I mean, that's the one they'll tell their great-grandchildren about for sure. So.
Yeah. You know, it's all about stories. And Randy, thank you. And Grant, thank you. You guys are doing a great job. It's a fantastic show. I've listened every night since 0 week.
Well, Adam, we appreciate your support and, you know, look forward to doing more with you in the future.
All right.
You bet. Thanks, guys.
Adam, I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for having me.
All right. Thank you.
Adam Dieselhorst from Squirtle. That's going to do it for our show tonight. Randy, thank you.
Thank you, Grant.
Eric King, thank you. Appreciate you all of your hard work tonight. We'll see you next week for the Prep Sports Postgame from GameDayOklahoma.com.
KRXO FM and KRXO HD Oklahoma City, a product of Tyler Media. Vote the franchise your favorite station for sports. We now return to Sports Map Radio, already in progress. 107.7 The Franchise and the Franchise mobile app.
Radio Connection. Radio Connection gives you the opportunity